Factually inaccurate.
Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. According to sources, Vice President Kamala Harris became distraught after discovering that the president admitted to hospice was only Jimmy Carter. Harris, who's been waiting patiently for Joe Biden to die, fought back the tears of disappointment when she discovered the current sitting president was alive and well, albeit in Ukraine. Harris put in a call to Putin and strongly hinted that now would be a great time to bomb Kyiv. Meanwhile, multiple insider sources reported a hushed nervousness was felt throughout President Biden's entourage as he arrived in Kyiv for his annual performance review with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He's really hoping this meeting goes well. The president's been working really hard over the past year to do a good job for his superiors, and he's wanting it to pay off for him in this performance review. His commitment to working for Ukraine, sending all the weapons, military equipment, and taxpayer dollars, really speaks for itself. Biden seemed oblivious to criticism that his trip was receiving due to him flying to Kyiv rather than visiting the ecologically ravaged community of East Palestine, Ohio.
We understand there are people who are upset about the president, not visiting East Palestine. But we saw pictures of that nasty black cloud of smoke. Are you kidding? The president can't breathe that stuff. He'd be safer in a war zone, quite frankly. If the performance review goes well, it's reported that President Biden is hoping it will result in a bump in his pay, with sources saying Biden wants a raise of at least, quote, 10% for the big guy. The Babylon Bee has acquired a recording of an exchange between Biden and his adolescent son Hunter just before the trip.
Yo, Pops, how's it hanging?
What now? Which kid are you?
Yeah, hilarious, Dad. Hey, can you pick up my paycheck while you're in Kiev? I'm swamped this week. Big art show coming up.
Sure thing, Herman.
Thanks, Dad. You're the best. Also, I've got a package waiting for me there. Can you pick that up too?
Squirrel Wisher.
Okay, cool. A brown paper package. Guy named Borsko the Blade has it.
Baboonsky the Bard. Got it.
Just go to the address right in your notebook. Stop eating it. You need that address.
Papa hungry. Nurse?
One more thing I need you to pick up. A busload of, ladies of the night.
Janitorial staff?
No, body tarts.
Fruit snacks?
Forbidden women. Brazen hussies.
Oh, town girls.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Attaboy, son. Smartest guy I know.
Locals are rejoicing this morning at the news that a nearby food production facility made it through another night without being burned to the ground like others all around the country. Sources say residents had expected the worst after the recent torchings of the Amish Corn Co-op, the Pilkington Dairy Farm, and Bok Egg Collective due to mysterious unseen forces that are in no way suspicious or coordinated. Local FBI Field Office Director and BlackRock consultant Ted Smith is urging locals who see suspicious activity around other food production facilities to keep walking and not report anything because nothing is happening that anyone should worry about. There's absolutely nothing to see here. We urge everyone to just do their jobs as citizens and watch more Netflix and stuff. In a powerful display of solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community, Norfolk Southern dumped thousands of gallons of toxic chemicals into the Ohio River to create beautiful rainbow-colored water.
Wow, so pretty! Look at all those colors. We hope our valued members of the LGBTQIP2SAA+++ community feel seen and valued by our loving gesture of support. Don't drink it, though. Activists and allies around the country celebrated the beautiful shimmering display at a time when many believe corporations are just going through the motions with their LGBTQ+ support.
While other multi-billion-dollar companies simply changed their logos for a month, Norfolk Southern went the extra mile. So inspiring,
said local queer activist and preschool teacher Zen Mixie.
Now, can someone please look at the strange growth on my neck?
Norfolk Southern confirmed there are more Pride-themed surprises on the way, starting with rainbow-colored acid rain next week. In a related story, the NFL's Cleveland Browns are reportedly breathing a collective sigh of relief now that the devastating derailment and subsequent toxic chemical release in East Palestine means that their franchise is no longer considered the largest train wreck in Ohio.
And there was much rejoicing.
Experts are already weighing in on next season, saying it will take far more than trading for a quarterback being sued for sexual assault if they want to reclaim the top spot in the list of terrible Ohio catastrophes. With the results of a recent poll indicating 74% of Americans no longer trust the mainstream media, analysts were greatly troubled by the fact that an alarming 26% of people still trust what the media tells them. It really is frightening. Micah Schmidt is a lead research analyst for Gallup. It beggars belief that 1 out of 4 Americans still trust the journalists who have done nothing but tear the country apart with a steady diet of lies and hatred.
We are either far dumber or far crazier than anyone could have imagined. To push the envelope even further, Schmidt said the team also polled a sample of the American public on a variety of other topics. In addition to 26% of the people in this country still believing the media, we subsequently found that a similar number, 24%, believe that the Easter Bunny is not only real, but that he's a lead advisor to President Biden. We also found that 28% of Americans still believe that weapons of mass destruction will be found in Iraq some 2 decades after the war. Most frighteningly, though, a whopping 72% of American women find Adam Driver attractive, which chills me to the bone. These findings have led Schmidt and other analysts to call for greater urgency in starting World War III with Russia, saying if the numbers are any indication, it's best to just end the world as we know it. In a bid to both stay ahead of the technological curve and help usher in the end of the world, tech companies continue to repeatedly comb through every dystopian science fiction novel they can find in order to come up with their next ideas.
It's our go-to solution whenever we have a hard time coming up with a new idea,
Said Scotty Moon, lead engineer at a large big tech firm.
We just start reading through classic sci-fi books that deal with the fall of human civilization and use whatever caused it in the story as our inspiration.
While Apple continues work on its giant eye laser, determined via focus group to be a better name than Death Star, that'll be capable of vaporizing entire planets, rumors persist that Microsoft is pushing forward with its long-term plan to poison the world's food supply through nefarious agriculture work and drastically reduce the human population under the guise of philanthropic initiatives. This all pales in comparison to reports that Amazon is looking into time travel breakthroughs, theoretically to allow them to go back in time to deliver packages before you even place the order. But this technology will almost certainly be used for more horrible things.
Growing children in artificial wombs like Brave New World, predicting crimes and arresting people before they commit them like Minority Report, and an exciting behavioral modification method similar to A Clockwork Orange are all amazing innovations heading your way. Bringing those stories to life is what we're working toward every day.
In an interview with ChatGPT, the AI confirmed everything is just fine and there's nothing to worry about. Nationwide news outlets have begun reporting on an historic event. A local nurse has set a new record for time elapsed without mentioning her occupation as nursing, waiting a grand total of 3.0011 minutes.
Ooh, you have really nice veins. I could probably get a 16 gauge in that thing. I know this because I'm a nurse.
Hello, nurse.
Did I already mention that I work in a hospital?
Local nurse Bettina De Barca spoke to reporters and recounted those now famous words. The prior record holder is a Cincinnati nurse named Jessica Gwynn, who had only made it 2.59.07 minutes before crying out,
I'm a nurse!
after a dare to see how long she could go without talking about her job. De Barca recalled the exact moment her friends had realized she was approaching breaking the record.
I was just making small talk at the Super Bowl party when I realized a few friends had gotten quiet and pulled out stopwatches and started watching me wide-eyed. When I told the host he would get diabetes from eating that many football-shaped cookies, and that I know this because I'm a nurse, everyone exploded into cheers and started high-fiving each other. It startled me, but I assumed they were just celebrating the game. But it turns out that they had started timing me because I had gone so long, without saying that I'm a nurse.
Meanwhile, nurses were weighing in on news site comment sections, claiming that nurses don't talk that much about being nurses and that they would know because they're nurses. Several news sites have since opted to turn off comments as the conversations had devolved into discussions about gastric juices, colonoscopy cleanups, and a variety of oozing, weeping, crusting, and other distressing bodily functions, with the nurses commenting that they don't mind talking about gross things because they are nurses. B Radio features officially curated content from the Babylon Bee. Scripted, voiced, and produced by Austin Robertson. Additional voices in this episode from Bettina, Kirsty, and Kristen. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to B Radio wherever you get your podcasts.